Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside of Brooks Memorial Gymnasium here at Salem High School, the host site for this 2017 holiday tourney presented by First Harrison Bank. This evening's nightcap will feature a rematch of the season opener for both of these upcoming ball clubs. The Senators enter the tourney looking to end a two-game skid. Meanwhile, the host Lions and the defending champs of this tournament will attempt to extend their early season win streak to 4 games. Tonight, it's the Senators and Lions Part 2 in a primetime rivalry rematch, and your countdown to the tip starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Misty Jones, and joining me in just a moment for tonight's broadcast of Senator basketball here on WSLM will be my broadcast partner and my sidekick, Senator football's own Mark Gibson. Well, for Coach Smith and his Senators, the learning curve continues to provide a little Jekyll and Hyde-like result. After this group picked up their first back-to-back wins of the season, they followed that up by dropping 2 straight last weekend in their first double dip of the season on a Friday-Saturday night combo. A 65-52 loss at Paoli, and last Friday night's conference opener featured more glittery flashes of hope and basketball brilliance with this young team against a seasoned veteran group in Paoli. However, Coach Smith's club failed to build on that momentum and strong effort at Paoli on Saturday night when they returned home to take on Trinity Lutheran. It was a game where they were able to battle throughout much of the first half and keep the game very interesting, but in the second half kind of imploded, especially on the defensive end, where we saw 27 total whistles against the two teams combined. The Senators gave up a whopping 43 points in that second half to the Cougars of Trinity Lutheran. However, the road doesn't get any easier. They're trying to bounce back from those 2 losses last weekend with a big showing here at the 2017 holiday tourney, again presented by First Harrison Bank here in Salem. It's a rematch of 2 arch rivals. As I said, the Lions managed to win that first game in a wire-to-wire finish, and they were up just 10 going into that fourth and final quarter of play. And the Senators, though, sputtered offensively down the stretch, and it was Hendigas and Whedon who was able to take over and kind of lead the charge as they combined for 38 points in the 54-36 win. Coach, as we welcome you in, Salem scoring duo, they were actually able to, as I said, kind of take over, especially in the late stages of that first matchup with West Washington. What adjustments did the Senators make here heading into this rematch tonight, especially on those two, to contain their scoring prowess?
Well, yeah, that's one of the keys. You know, obviously you gotta contain their scores, which like I said, Whedon and Hendigas. But they did a lot of their damage in the paint. They were able to penetrate a little bit, get into the paint. If it wasn't a layup, it was a 10-footer. So they're going to have to do a little bit better job of keeping them out front and not getting the easy hoops right up next to the basket. So, I mean, just kind of have to play tougher interior defense.
Well, on the flip side, the Lions appear, as I said earlier, to be kind of clicking on all cylinders. They come in with a record of 4-1 on the year, and they have won 3 in a row. After escaping the Hive at Mitchell last Saturday night with a 59-53 win over the Jackets, the Lions then followed that up with another quality road win against a Patoka Lake Athletic Conference opponent in Springs Valley. They battled Michael Leitzman's Springs Valley Blackhawks, who came into that matchup on Tuesday night with Salem undefeated at 4-0, but it was Salem who was able to prevail down the stretch for a 48-39 win, especially being able to salt the game away at the free throw line, where they were a stellar 16 of 18 in that game, and they absolutely dominated the boards against the Blackhawks. Coach, when you look at this team and how they shoot free throws in Salem, and you look at what we did defensively and committing so many fouls and putting Trinity Lutheran to the line 18 times alone in the fourth quarter last Saturday night, that's kind of a recipe for Coach Smith to be on a diet of nothing but Tums heading into this rematch.
Absolutely, and you may see some different defenses. I don't know. He's going to have to do something to eliminate some of those fouls. And even the first time these two teams matched up, I mean, free throws was a problem too. I think I'd written it down that rebounding and free throws was a tough task for the Senators the first time these guys have matched up, where Salem held a 27-19 edge on the rebounding, and they actually made more free throws than the Senators attempted that time. The Salem made 15 of 19 free throws, and the Senators only attempted 13. So Coach Smith may have to try to junk up some defenses a little bit of switch here, maybe a little bit of his zone, a little bit. The next time down, maybe some man-to-man. He's got to find something that works to keep them from getting easy buckets and obviously, I'm sure you'll talk about it, after, Holden not playing tonight. I mean, we got to watch our fouls, especially out in the perimeter.
Well, as always, we want to take this moment during our Senator Tip-Off pregame show to thank you, the fans, for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Senator basketball in Salem's 12-20 as the Senators take on the Lions in this rematch again of the season opener played on the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And not only tuning in just for the entire broadcast, but especially our coverage here on our Senator Tip-Off pregame show brought to you by John Jones GM City. Also want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the sponsors that make this and every broadcast of Senator basketball possible. And those sponsors include our pregame show sponsor, John Jones GM City, our halftime sponsor, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, and our postgame sponsor, Ace Hardware of Salem, as well as McDonald's, Walmart here in Salem, Brady Bishop and Channel Seeds, Salem Crossing, and Meadowview Healthcare. We're going to take our first break of the night, and as always, hear a word from the Indiana High School Athletic Association. And after that 60-second timeout, we'll come back and we'll be joined by Senator head coach, Mr. Sean Smith, on the pregame. You're listening to the Senators tonight take on the Lions on your home for Southern Indiana sports coverage, WSLM 1220 on the AM dial.
Before the big plays, before the magical moments, patience and teamwork Foundation is dedicated to protecting, sustaining, and nurturing education-based athletics in Indiana. Its work will ensure IHSAA member schools and coaches receive the support they need so that Indiana student-athletes receive the opportunity they deserve. Learn more at ihsaafoundation.org.
Welcome back as we continue on with more of this edition of our Senator Tip-Off pregame show brought to you by John Jones, GM City of Salem, as we get you set for tonight's nightcap in round one of this holiday tourney presented by First Harrison Bank. And we're joined now, as always, on this portion of the show by Senator head coach, Mr. Sean Smith. Coach, you've had a week now to kind of process last weekend's first back-to-back of the season. A couple of tough losses, but sparks and glimpses of good play throughout each of those games. Just give us an assessment of where this team's at after last weekend.
Well, we're still in the learning process. Again, I thought we played really well in the first quarter of both games and into the second, but the end of the second quarter is kind of getting us a little bit, just not managing that last minute or two, and kind of understanding that momentum's huge and carrying momentum into the next quarter or the next half is can be very important. And both of those games we, got down to the last minute or so of the quarter and just we got impatient and the other team was able to capitalize and gain some momentum going into the second half and then, of course, coming out in the third quarter of both those games, we have to learn that, halftime's a break, but then we got to get ourselves back up and ready to play. And I think that's just part of being young and inexperienced is understanding that you can't take any plays off and you have to maintain your focus throughout the game.
Yeah, Coach, I was going to bring that up. Maybe just being a little bit too impatient within the offense and recognizing game situations or opportunities, because really it was almost a mirror image on Friday and Saturday of last weekend. Of course, you have Friday night where you have a chance to do some positive things and maybe go in with the upper hand with momentum as well. And then they are able to get the big three, the fadeaway for Clark that kind of got them going, I felt like, coming out of the half. And then same thing on Saturday night as you were able to battle back and forth and keep it really tight in that first half against Trinity Lutheran. But again, as you talked about in the post game, you had a couple of possessions where you could have maybe extended things out, and instead they're able to capitalize.
Yeah. Really the Trinity game. It was a matter of like 4 possessions. We had built a little bit of a lead, and then we came down and we tried to force the issue when we didn't have an advantage on the break and traveled or carried the ball, and then they came down and scored, and then we came down and took a quick shot. They came down and hit a three. It was a matter of 3 or 4 quick, on our end, just not being patient and trusting our stuff and running the offense, and then the other team capitalizing, and that's the lesson we've got to learn from it. How quick things can turn, and we need to. We've got to be more patient on the offensive end. If we can't get a fast break basket, then we have to be more disciplined and run our offense until we can get a really good shot. And that's something we've been preaching, but it's maybe just something that we're kind of going through some growing pains with as guys trying to figure that out.
When you look back at Saturday night's game, Coach, a game where, in that second half, it was really controlled by Trinity Lutheran, but I didn't feel like there was an opportunity for our guys to really get into a rhythm. 27 whistles in that second half of play alone, and again, it just kind of seemed to hamper our ability to get into any kind of true rhythm offensively, and of course, they're able to capitalize with 18 free throw attempts in that fourth quarter alone. Just talk to us a little bit about defensively where your team's at in the second half of ball games.
Yeah, that was definitely frustrating, but that's something that we have to adjust. And on the ball they were calling it, little hand checks and things like that, and we got to get our hands off. We just have to adjust, whether regardless of how the crowd's responding or anything like that. We've got to adjust and understand that why they're calling the fouls they're calling, and get our hands off and play harder, move our feet, and but we just couldn't get in a rhythm. It seemed like that second half just dragged on and on because there was a lot of stoppage to shoot free throws, and that was frustrating, and again, it needs to be a learning experience for our guys.
Well, Coach, now you turn your attention to this tournament, of course, this weekend. Always a loud, very exciting environment to play in, I guess. And this is a team of yours that's coming in not only still battling a little bit of youth and maybe some impatience, as we talked about at times, offensively and even defensively, but kind of sketchy right now as far as your guard play, just knowing that Holden's probably going to be out this weekend, and of course, coming back from the concussion from a couple of weeks ago is Cam Zink. So talk to us a little bit about your guard play and what you're going to have available coming into the tournament.
Yeah, Holden's going to be out this weekend, and then, of course, Cam, we just got him back yesterday, so don't really know exactly how he's going to be able to go. I know he's probably not going to be able to play a lot of minutes because he's been following the concussion protocol and hasn't really been able to do a whole lot of conditioning. So, Nichols and Green and Abels are going to have to step up, and they're going to have to take care of the basketball and defend, and when they have opportunities, knock down on-balance shots. And that's something we've been really trying to preach too, is we have some guys that are shooting off-balance shots, and those are very hard to make. I know on TV we see guys do that, but those guys practice those shots daily and make those shots several hundred times a day. It just doesn't work. I know when I was a player, I never, when I would shoot an off-balance shot, it usually didn't go in because I didn't practice those, and you don't feel comfortable. So we want to make sure that we're taking shots that we practice and that are on balance and that we're comfortable shooting, and understand there's not a shot clock, so there's no need to get in a hurry. Early in the game, throughout the game. I guess late in the game, if you're down and you're having to go to the three-point offense and trying to make something happen, then yeah, maybe you have to take some tough shots. But we have to understand that early in the game, with a lead or with a close game, we certainly want to be making sure we're getting a great shot every time down the floor, and that's something we're struggling with a little bit. We need to kind of grasp that and make sure we're being productive every trip down the floor.
Of course, you play a Salem team tonight, Coach, in this opening round, a team that knocked you off 54-36 in that season opener. But good news for you, you were able to go in to the fourth quarter, just down 10. Certainly a game that was within reach, but it was kind of Hendigas and Whedon that kind of took over down the stretch. And it sounds like it's going to be guard by committee this weekend, being a little shorthanded. So talk about how you try to defend a guy like Hendigas who creates so much for Salem.
Well, Hennigas is really good. I really feel like he, is the guy that makes them go. I mean, he's been a starting point guard. He's a junior, but I mean, he started as a freshman and as a sophomore on two really outstanding teams. So he, that shows the type of caliber of player he was coming in to high school, and he's obviously gotten better and he's just really solid. He the game definitely seems slower to him compared to other kids. He definitely experienced, and he's shifty. He's hard to stay in front of, and so it's a major challenge for us, and we're going to have to do a good job of trying to keep him contained, keep him in front of us, and force him to hit some shots from the outside, which he can do. But sometimes you just got to pick your poison. We don't want to see him shooting a whole bunch of layups, which when they were able to break open that game a little bit, it was because he was able to get to the rim and get some easy shots off the dribble, and that was really kind of the difference there at the end of the second quarter again, and then a couple times in the second half.
What takeaways do you have from that first game, Coach? Some things that you liked that you were able to get offensively, and some things you were able to do defensively that maybe you can use in the second go-around?
Well, the first game, I really liked our patience. I thought that was really, to be honest with you, probably our most patient game. We were pretty patient, and I thought we were able to kind of control the tempo, and we certainly could get better shots. I think that's still guys learning how to play within the offense and what we're looking for. But I thought we were patient for the most part in that game, and I'd like to see us continue to be patient like that. And I thought we handled the press pretty well. It'd be nice to break it and maybe get some scores out of that and use their pressure against them. But I thought we broke their press last game, or first game of the year. And then the 1-3-1, when we attacked that, I thought we had some good possessions, but we also had some where we got sped up and took some ill-advised shots when we really needed something good. So, again, that's just experience and just learning how to attack those different defenses, and hopefully we'll do a good job with that again tonight, and keep the tempo where we'd like it, and see if we can find a way to have a chance to win at the end of the game.
Coach, we talked a little bit about Holden and his availability and not being able to go with some concussion-like symptoms from last week's game against Trinity Lutheran, and you talked about Cam being able to come back and getting cleared. Talk to us about the health of the rest of the team and what your starting lineup will look like tonight.
Yeah, well, I think everybody else is pretty much healthy. It's just, I got a couple guys, they were getting Cam back, and we'll see how much, how long he can go, and it's probably going to be one of those things where he's going to need some breaks here and there, and probably be a little rusty. He's going to make some mistakes probably. Just timing's going to be off, and then not having Holden. But we're going to start off with Nichols and Green at the guards, and then we're going with Dakota Smith and Nick Mars at the forwards, and then Jake Strange at center.
Coach, we wish all the best in this holiday tourney as you look to bounce back with a nice win over Salem, try to seek a little revenge for that opening night loss to the Lions, and we look forward to seeing you after the ball game.
I appreciate it.
Coach Smith joins us here on our Senator Tip-Off pregame show. We'll have more in a moment. You're listening to Senator Basketball tonight on Salem's 1220. Welcome back as we continue on with
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I needed a cooler for our annual fishing trip, and I heard Ace has Yeti.
Jack was right. We do have Yeti coolers. I told him about the permafrost insulation and the fact that Yeti coolers are built for the wild, and that Yeti Tundra is guaranteed grizzly-proof.
Ace is the place with grizzly-proof Yeti coolers.
Ace Hardware of Salem is your local Yeti dealer. Get a free $50 Ace gift card with your purchase of any Yeti cooler of $249 or more. Offer ends December 23rd.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We welcome you back to Brooks Memorial Gymnasium here at Salem High School as we continue our countdown to the tip here tonight between West Washington and Salem, the rematch, part 2, as these two teams are about set to go at it. About 3 minutes here until we run down the starting lineups. They've already done the national anthem prior to game 1 tonight, which featured Eastern, and Borden Eastern jumped out big, and I mean big, come out and played well. Well-oiled machine for Coach Scott Newcomb's group, and they absolutely rolled against Doc Nash's Borden Braves. They rolled, in fact, to a 57-36 win, so Eastern already has their ticket punched to tomorrow night's championship game of this 2017 holiday tourney presented by First Harrison Bank in Salem. As we continue our pregame show festivities, I want to take this moment to give a special shout out to one of our very loyal and faithful listeners, Miss Garnell Stevenson. I know she listens every night the Senators are in action. And Garnell, if you're with us tonight listening, we are glad that you have tuned in and stick with us throughout the night. We'll see if the Senators can't get a victory over the Lions and get the job done here to get to the championship game of this holiday tourney. Let's look at some other notes. Just in the last 30 years, between these two arch rivals, Salem leads the overall series 28 games to 16, so this will be the 45th meeting in the last 30 years combined between these two ball clubs. Coach Smith, here's the stat perhaps of the night. 0-4 against Coach Hank Whedon and the Lions. Now, of course, he got the better of the Lions a few times while at Charlestown, a member of the Mid-Southern Conference, but 0-4 in the Berg against the Lions. So he's trying to break that streak and get that monkey or lion, if you will, off of his back. Last meeting was a 54-36 win for Salem. In the 16 holiday tourneys that we've had since 01-02, 32 games played for West Washington. They're just 11-21 in this holiday tourney, with one title coming back in 2006, courtesy of Adam Walker, Ricky Links, Troy McKinney, Landon Henry, Landon Roberts and company. Caleb Powers also in with that group as well. And Salem comes into this tournament, of course, the defending champs. They have won this tournament 5 times. Our keys to victory tonight brought to you by John Jones GM City, our pregame show sponsor. First and foremost, X marks the spot, and I'm talking about the X-Man, Xavier Hindigas. Got to limit his dribble drive creations. Secondly, got to do the Windex work. This is a team with Miller and both Whedon that will get after you on the glass. We've got to get them checked off the boards, especially those two. And then transition D is going to be big tonight because Suvac and Hindigas will both look to push and create for guys in the full court game. So we got to locate, make them earn everything, nothing given here. And those keys to victory brought to you by John Jones GM City, a proud sponsor of the Senators all season long. Call the good folks at John Jones GM City, 1-800-I-SELL-GM, 473-5546. Check them out at johnjonesautogroup.com, or better yet, check out that beautiful showroom and lot just outside of town, 1450 South State Road 60 in Salem. John Jones GM City. You see so many because they pay so little. And it is that time. We're ready for tonight's starting lineups. And we will begin first with the Salem Lions, 4-1 on the year, 0-1 in the Mid-Southern Conference. Coach Hank Whedon looking for win number 199 in his career in his 18th season here at Salem. His team averages 52, and they give up 44 a game. Their last outing, that 48-39 win over at the Hawks Nest against Springs Valley on Tuesday night. They will start a 2-guard set. 22, Xavier Hindigas, 5'9" and a junior, starts at the point, 18 points per game and 4 rebounds. Number 10, Landon Suvac, his running mate. He'll start at the shooting guard spot, 5'9" and a junior, also 9.2 points per ball game for Suvac. Number 11, Gavin Fleming. He'll start at the 3 spot. 6 foot and a sophomore. Gavin averages 3 points and nearly 2 rebounds per game for the Lions, and he's a guy that's been playing well as of late for Coach Hank Whedon's ball club. In the front court on 1 block, 15, Hunter Whedon. Team's second leading scorer, 16 points, 9 boards per game. He's 6'3" and a senior. He'll be accompanied by another 6'3" senior at the other forward spot, number 5, Blayton Miller, 2.2 points per game. He also grabs nearly 6.5 rebounds per contest. And that is the lineup for the host Salem Lions. For Coach Sean Smith and the Senators, they're 2-3 on the year, looking to snap that 2-game skid. The Senators average 50 a game while giving up 54. Their last outing was that loss at home to Trinity Lutheran on Saturday night. 2-guard set to start. 14, Mikey Nichols, 5'10" and a junior, 8 points, 2 assists per game, which the assist leads the team right now on average. 12, Parker Green, his running mate in the backcourt tonight, 6 foot and a freshman, nearly 6.5 per game, as well as 4.5 rebounds. The forwards, number 20, Dakota Smith, 6 foot and a junior, 3.8 points per game, along with 32, Jake Strange, 6'4" and a freshman, 3.8 points and a couple of boards per contest for the freshman big man. And in the middle, 34, the senior, 6'3", Nick Mars, 9.2 points per game, as well as 5.5 boards per contest. He leads the team in rebounding. Tonight's Indiana High School Athletic Association officials, a familiar crew to most. Some of you may cringe when you hear it, though. Greg Hammond, Mike Wright, Darren Wagner, your 3 guys from the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Senators in the road blue, trimmed in red and white, red letters and numerals. Salem in the home white threads, trimmed in black and gold, black letters and numerals. Greg Hammond tosses it up, folks, and away we go as Salem will control the opening tip in this nightcap of the 2017 holiday tourney presented by First Harrison Bank Eastern. Looking on anxiously to see who they will face in the championship game after they rolled the Braves in game 1 here tonight. Quickly right out of the gate, nice speed, and a 3 out of the corner by Gavin Fleming. And we said just a moment ago, Fleming's been playing well for the Lions in this little 3-game win streak they've got going, and he gets the Lions off to the hot start with a nice 3 from the left corner.
Yeah, that would say he's like one of the 3 people in this game that didn't start the first time. Parker Green didn't start, Jake Strange didn't start, so that's a nice little start for Salem, and you got to see if the Senators can react to it in a positive manner.
Again, Senators shorthanded tonight without the services of their freshman point man, the floor general Holden Bousman, with concussion-like symptoms this week. His father electing to hold him out this weekend just as a precautionary short-term deal, and hopefully he'll be back with us for the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney after Christmas. Senators very patient in this first offensive set. Mars gets it on the reversal, now to Green on the wing. Parker at the 2-guard spot tonight with Nichols again in the backcourt. Nichols, dribble drive left side. We're going to have a player control foul. This will also go as a turnover against the Senators, and this one's going to go on number 32, Jake Strange. And that is our first foul of the night at the 6:42 mark. Salem leads it early, 3-0. Glad you could join us here this evening for this semifinal number 2. Misty Jones alongside of Mark Gibson. Craig Akers running the live stream feed for us as well. Minute and a half gone by, first quarter of play. Senators in a little matchup zone to start. Fleming, he'll fire again, left wing. This one in and out, no good. Rebound pulled down by Mars. Nice job on the defensive glass. One of our keys to victory from John Jones. GM City tonight, gonna do that Windex work and wipe them clean. Limit the lines just to 1 shot per possession. Dakota Smith near turnover. He's on the floor, and Miller goes on top of him, and we have a whistle. Mike Wright whistled for a foul. Hammond whistled for a jump ball. They're going to talk about it now. And
Coach Smith was actually calling for a timeout. I was kind of surprised that he didn't get granted that timeout because he had possession of the ball.
Probably should have called a foul there on Miller, who jumped in on Dakota. But with the held ball at the 6:10 mark of this first quarter of play, Senators will have it, and they reset against the Salem man-to-man. Mars has it high post left side, pull-up jumper, 16-footer, rattles home against Wheaton. And Mars has the Senators on the board for their first points of the night. 3-2 your score, 5:46 and counting. First quarter of play. Back to the other end, Hindigus out top, give it off on the wing to Fleming, and then gets it right back as he directs traffic between the circles. Brings the dribble now right side as he feeds in the corner to Suvak. Ball reversal around left side in the corner for the Senator cheer block. Wheaton got rid of it as it was swung back around on the right side to Hindigus. He controls back to Suvak. Senators stick with the little matchup 2-3 zone, or 3-2 zone rather. Suvak with it in the corner. Nice poke away. Nichols is going to give chase to Hindigus, and it's going to be an over and back. Mike Wright called the over and back, and then Wagner comes in and corrects him, says it was last touch by Nichols, so it'll stay with Salem. We'll have our first sub. Good to see Cam Zink back in the lineup as Dakota Smith will take a breather. Cam Zink, 6 foot and a senior at 1 point per game. He has struggled to find his scoring rhythm, but again, he's been out the last 2, Coach, with the concussion.
It's kind of surprising. Usually when Coach comes out with this zone, he sticks with it a couple possessions and switches, but this is a 4th straight possession, the 3-2.
Suvak will fire left side, 3 ball short. Nice rebound again Mars doing a nice job of finding Whedon and clearing him off the boards. 3-2. Salem leads it by 1 here early. Deep three for Zink. In and out, no good as he tried to get quickly into the action from that left side. Would not go. 4:45 and counting. Whedon in transition. The trailer way off the mark. Nothing but glass. And Nichols will bring it across and slow it up now at the center circle. Coach Smith imploring his guys in blue to run a little O on this trip. Missed Jake on the little pick and roll left side. Ball reversal now to Nichols. He'll take a screen from Mars, try to get into the paint. No doing on that drive, so he'll have to pull it back out. We will see 32 Shane Mahiran, a 5'11 sophomore, check in. Next dead ball for Coach Whedon and the Lions. On the post feed entry, probably a little bit better ball fake there by Nichols, and he's probably going to find Nick, who had got bumped off the block, and here comes Mahiran in at the 4:13 mark. Miller's going to check out, so a chance for the Senators to dominate a little more inside, Coach, as the Lions give up a little bit of size and strength with Miller now on the pine.
You know, we've seen Nick be pretty aggressive offensively and on the boards. I think we need that tonight with Holden being out. Who's that calming presence? Well, you would like it to be this senior Nick Mars, and Cam wasn't shy about putting up a shot right off the bat either.
Zink feeds down low to Mars. Upstream move, and Mars has the first 2 baskets of the night for West Washington, giving them the first lead of the night at 4-3. Senators battling tough, staying in that little 3-2 or 1-2-2, whichever one you want to call it, little matchup zone. And on the drive, Whedon going to turn it over. Jake gets on the floor. Parker gets bumped. No call. First turnover of the night for the Lions. So 1 giveaway apiece for each team. And the Senators hanging tough here in period number 1. 3.5 to play in the opening frame. Nichols with it now, right side, looking for Mars in the post. He'll swing it across now to the freshman big man Strange. He gives it up to Zink. Back to Mars, top of the key. Mahiran on Nick. Let's see if we can't get him pinned in the post here. Nichols has it left side. He'll take the screen from Strange. Can't get him in the post, so we'll reverse it back around and try it on the right side. 3 minutes to play first quarter. 4-3, Senators out in front. This is a patient pace that we saw in the first matchup against Salem, and it worked for the better part of 3 quarters until Salem pulled away late. Zink thought about 3 left side again, had an open look, decided not to pull the trigger, and the Senators will continue to chew up some clock. High post feed to Mars, nearly bobbled. Jake will work now against Whedon. His shot won't go. Good look, just didn't get himself square. Subak pulls down the rebound. Or excuse me, that was Mahiran. Back out now to Hendigas. He'll give it up to Whedon. Whedon to Subak now, right side, back to Whedon. 1 dribble, forced to give it up. Subak will swing it now left side. 3 ball on the way, in and out, no good for Fleming. Ball chased down, and Nick Mars on the floor, a headbutt. Coach, that's the last thing we need. That'd be 3 guys with concussion-like symptoms. He took a direct headbutt, and we're going to see Gavin Smith, a 6'2 sophomore at 3.5 points per game, check in and give Nick a breather. I don't know if he got popped more in the forehead or in the jaw. He's kind of working his mouth around a little bit. 2:16 to play. First period, 4-3. Senators out in front. And Salem will have to reset against the zone for West Washington. Smith and Strange, the sophomore and freshman connection down on the blocks. He'll step out on Hendigas. He'll drive. Nice take. Left baseline. He's got his first of the night. And Hendigas gives Salem the lead back at 5-4. You are correct.
That's their first 2-point attempt, and we just gave them easy baseline layup. And Coach talked about that before. We can't give up a bunch of layups to Hendigas.
Nichols controls now right side as he works in the mismatch against Whedon out front. They've got Jake pinned down on the block. Turnaround jumper wouldn't go against Subak, but again, the freshman fails to get totally square into the other end. Nice dribble, drive, and take. As Fleming's got his second basket of the night. It's a 7-4 lead for Salem, and it's going to prompt a 30-second timeout by Coach Smith, and he's going to chew on his freshman big man, Jake Strange, just a little bit. As again, we take our first timeout of the night. While we have an opportunity, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Senators take on the Lions on Salem's 1220.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
Minute 31 to play. First quarter, Salem enjoying a little bit of breathing room. Their second 3-point edge of the night. They jumped out with the 3-0 lead, courtesy of the 3 by Gavin Fleming. And a nice little spurt here. 4-0 run for the Lions on a basket by both Hindigus and Fleming again, giving him 5 now in this first quarter. Brings us to the 7-4 score.
I'll be interested to see. One of the things I saw doing doing the season stats and just watching the first 5 games is we've really struggled at the end of quarters to finish out a quarter. And, tied, it was 4-3 at one point. In the last couple minutes, they've hit a couple of layups. That one would be interesting to see during this broadcast how we finish. And again, we've turned it over. It's a minute 19 left to go. We haven't finished quarters very well this year so far.
Unforced turnover by the Senators on the 10 count as they were afraid to cross into front court territory against that patented 1-3-1 for Salem. So Salem gets it back. Hindigus in the corner now. He'll work the baseline. Kind of flare back out to the left. He catches. Gavin Smith able to cut him off on that baseline. Suvak back to Hindigus. 2-man game of pitch and catch on the left. The swing across now right side to Fleming. Back to Suvak. Whedon working the high post. Again, the Lions on a little 3-game win streak. Senators have dropped their last 2, so something's got to give for one of these 2 teams eventually. We'll see if it's
Gavin's got to
tonight
watch out a
for West
little lob
Washington.
to Whedon at some point.
Fleming with a nice drive and take. Whedon with the offensive board to put it back up, and he's got his first basket of the night. Largest lead of the game now at 5. 9-4 your score. Half minute to go. Back to the 1-3-1. We've got to get it across. Zink, dangerous catch there. Finally gets it to Nichols across the timeline. He'll split the double team. Kick it now in the corner left side to Marsh. Cross court pass to Green. Back to Nichols to Zink. Back to Marsh. He'll drive now. Take it in left baseline, and his shot rims in and out, no good. Suvak on the run. Brings it to the front court for Salem. Leaves it off for Hindigus. Little dribble hesitation. Brings it out to Fleming. Back to Hindigus. Stops. Pops. 17-footer is nothing to the bottom of the net. Hindigus has 4, and that's the way the first quarter will come to a close as Salem leads it after 8 minutes of play, 11-4. They race out to their largest lead of the game here at the end of the first period of play. We'll step aside, take a break, get a word from the sponsor, and we'll come back with more right after this.
Looking for your next new or used car? Then head on down and check out the deals at John Jones Auto Group in Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, and Greenville. Whether you visit the lot and take a test drive or visit the virtual showroom online at johnjonesautogroup.com, you'll find the largest selection of GM cars in Kentuckiana. Whether it's a car, truck, or minivan, John Jones Auto Group has something to fit your style and your budget. Bad credit? No problem. We will find the financing that's right for you. At John Jones, we pride ourselves at finding the right deal for your situation. Call or visit today, 1-800-473-5546, or go online at johnjonesautogroup.com and check us out on Facebook and Twitter too. John Jones Auto Group, the largest dealer in southern Indiana, serving Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, Greenville. You see so many because they paid so little.
We come back inside the Lions Den here at Brooks Memorial Gymnasium. First quarter in the books. Salem leads it 11-4, enjoying their largest lead of the night at 7 as we open up play in the second quarter, and it will be the Lions who have control here to begin the period. Salem goes 50% from the field. Senators just 33% in that opening period of play. Myron Mead is checked in for the Lions, 6'3" and a sophomore at 2.5 points per game. Also in Shane McCurran, 5'11" and a sophomore in there with Whedon, Suvak, and Hindigus. Deep 3, left side, and Hindigus starting to heat up a little bit. Hindigus averages again 18 points per game to lead the team. First double-digit lead of the night. Senators turn it over, and Hindigus right back at it. 5 quick ones within the first half-minute plus of this second period of play. 16-4, full timeout prompted here by this nice little run to start the period by Hindigus. Coach Smith burns a full timeout with the 7:21 mark here of the second period, so we'll step aside and take another one as well.
Gymnasium for tonight's game. It's time to introduce the starting lineup, and the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild. And here comes the new players. We've got the quarter pounders coming in tonight, alongside the chicken classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we have got one-of-a-kind McWrap. Guarding your hunger, it looks like we've got McDouble and McChicken coming in. And starting in the center court tonight will be Big Mac. Look on the sidelines, folks. We have Chicken McNuggets cheering tonight alongside those golden delicious fries. Hot and always ready. You'll score points every time you bring the family into Salem McDonald's, right here on Main Street, before or after the game. Don't forget to top off your favorite meal with a cold soft drink, that famous Mickey D sweet tea, or something from their full line of smoothies and McCafe coffee drinks. Order inside to 11, or get that one-of-a-kind taste 24 hours at the drive-thru. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Out of the timeout for West Washington. They inbound, and we have a foul on the 1-4 press break as Suvak picks up Salem's first foul of the night at the 7:17 mark of the second quarter. We'll see full court pressure, a little run and jump now. Mars gets it from Nichols. He brings it into the front court. He'll go in, leave it off for Harrison Sanford into the ball game. 6'2" and a sophomore, 4.5 per game. Also pulling down 4.5 rebounds for Coach Smith. Not in the starting role tonight, though.
Have to find somebody to get a bucket here.
Mars
will
will fire.
13-0 run.
Nice job of following his miss off the three, but he couldn't get the shot to fall. And a rebound pulled down by Salem as they're back in business, enjoying a 12-point advantage at 16-4. Promising start for West Washington, but cold shooting again, just 33% in that first quarter to Salem's 50%. Salem also able to double up West Washington on the board 6-3 in that first quarter of play. Going to have a little face guarding here now as Nichols is going to face guard Hindigus. Whedon, though, going to try to answer with a three. He cannot, so we'll see if the face guarding of Hindigus helps stop the bleeding a little bit as Harrison Sanford's going to drive left baseline, has to kick it out to Dakota Smith back into the ball game, and Nichols now will slow it up, and he'll be picked up by Hindigus. Lions stick with the man-to-man here in this second quarter of play. Meade and Whedon switch off on the ball screen, high side on the right wing. Dakota Smith with it, trying to give it up, and finally finds Nichols. Nichols will try to reset as he gives it up to Mars now. Out top, 5:50 and counting. Second quarter, again, 16-4 your score. Senators look a little lost offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're being patient, but also it's just like nobody, you got to have that guy who's going to take the ball and put it in the basket.
And right now that's Nick Mars as he gets a turnaround jumper to fall. He has all 6 for West Washington. And we're just below the 5.5-minute mark of the second quarter of play. 16-6, Salem out in front. Again, both teams battling for a spot in tomorrow night's championship game, where they will face, either team will face, that is, the Eastern Musketeers. Whedon with it left side, back out to Suvak. Again, out there with Meade, Hindigus, and 32, Shane Mahurin. Whedon kicks it back out to Suvak. Senators doing a nice job here in the little box and one, little face guard by Nichols. Nichols may have got away with one on the closeout, and you never, that's just a cardinal rule, coach. You never try to save the ball under the opponent's basket. Nichols did, but fortunately, it's going to be last touch by Salem.
Yeah, it might have been Meade or somebody was right into him, but yeah, we got lucky there. But, you know, nice little defensive stop there, and if we can come down, get a bucket, then you're right back into the ballgame.
Substitutions as Strange and Zink check back in to go with Nichols, Sanford, and Green. Senators break the press on the bobble by Zink. He'll slow it up now at the volleyball spike line. And Coach Smith barks out instructions for his club nearing the halfway point of this second quarter. 16-6, Salem out in front. Green gives it up now on the left wing to Nichols. Down in the post, they go to Jake Strange. He still can't get one to go. Lid's still on it. But in every shot he's taken in the post, coach, he's struggled to get square Blake Miller back into the ball game. He's got his first basket of the night. Make it now 18-6.
30-second timeout, West Washington.
30-second timeout. Coach Smith going to do a little bit more teaching here, a little bit shorter amount of time. 4:22 to play. It's already his third timeout. He'll be left with 2 full timeouts down the stretch. We watched Doc Nash try to follow the same strategy to stop the bleeding early, but there was no stopping this Eastern team in game 1 tonight.
No, they've just shot the lights out at the beginning of the game. Got on a nice little cruise control action. Borden couldn't buy a basket, but you can tell. I think Eastern is playing a lot better since we beat them by one over there. I mean, we fought and got the win. But I think they kind of took that as a hit to their pride a little bit because they played a lot better since then. I think they beat Crawford the other night, and they looked really good tonight. But I think Coach took that time out because we had nobody back on defense, and that's an effort thing, and that's not been a problem for us, so he did not like seeing that.
Zink will walk it up now. Little zone jump trap here for the Lions out of the timeout. And Strange is going to get another post feed, but it's just driving me nuts to watch, and that's a freshman thing. You got to learn at this level that sometimes it works at the junior high level and elementary level, but Jake just not able to get those feet, as Bill Raftery would say, not getting the puppy square, and that's really causing him some problems from the field.
Well, Coach talked about that at the beginning when he was talking about how a lot of our players are taking off-balance shots and how they're not getting square. And he said that has been a big problem and why we're shooting under 50% for two. So that's a good observation. He's got to get square and go strong.
The foul was on Gavin Fleming, team's second. Jake goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Jake Strange has struggled on the year, 3 of 11 entering tonight's game for just 27%. So that brings us to an 18-7 score. Just under 4 minutes to play before the intermission. Whedon, jumper, left baseline. It won't go. Myron Mead with a nice offensive rebound and put back for his first basket of the night, make it 20-7. And just like we spoke of in the pregame, a key to victory was going to be our ability to limit them to one look. And we were unable to do so on that possession. We see multiple substitutions. Again, ball tipped around, and it's Miller who gets after it, and Parker goes over and back. But Coach Smith says it was tipped by Suvak. Wright says, I don't think so. And now Greg Hamlin's going to try to bring him together. Well, thought he was going to maybe bring the crew together and discuss it, but it'll be turnover number 4 for West Washington in this half. Now 2 in each quarter. Caden Abel's in for his first minutes of the night, 5'8", a junior, 2.8 per game, and just under 2 rebounds. Roll up on the 3-minute mark, 20-7 your score. Lions out in front. Hendigas will take a high ball screen left side from Whedon. Whedon will give it right back to Hendigas. Hendigas on the drive. And we're going to have a whistle and a foul. And Darren Wagner pretty emphatic with that whistle. And that's going to be team foul number 2 for West Washington. That one's going to go against Cam Zink. And now on the dribble drive, nice feed down low, and Blake Miller has his second field goal of the night. Make it now 22-7. Back to a 1-3-1 for the Lions. Out front, Miller. He gives chase to Zink, who gives it up to Abels. We'll see Suvak check in next dead ball for the Lions. Nice take inside that zone. Breaking that pressure off the dribble. Abels able to find a seam. He has his first 2 of the night, and it's 22-9.
With 2.5 to go, though, if we're going to climb back into this one, it's got to be at this end. You got to play some defense, got to get some stops, no second chance points.
Need to keep it as close to 10 as we can heading into the break. Another whistle and a foul. And this one's going to go against Nick Mars.
Number 34, Nick Mars.
Team foul number 3. Suvak checks in. Hendigas will get a break, so a chance maybe for the Senators to get a little offense going. Give some pressure relief to that defense as well with Hendigas and his dribble drive ability now taking a breather. Rolling up on the 2-minute warning, first half, 22-9. Salem out in front. Suvak controls down in front of us, left wing. He'll pull it back out, working between the circles. Now right side to Meade. He gets it back. Now over to Fleming on the left wing. Senators matching up well out of this 1-2-2 or 3-2 matchup. Harrison Sanford will check in next dead ball for West Washington as we roll under 2 minutes to play. Salem will take their turn being patient now.
Whedon was really wanting the ball in the paint there, so that they're being nice and patient. Got a 13-point lead. There's no need to rush. They're going to wait for the Senators to make a mistake on one of these cross courts.
Meade has it, dribbles out of trouble left side, gives it back to Suvak. Suvac will look to break pressures. He gives it up to Fleming, now to Whedon, buried over in that right corner. He dribbles out of trouble and gives it back to Suvac. And we'll have a foul underneath. And this one's going to go against Salem, so this will be a turnover as well.
I was going to say, I thought they were going to get Nick on that one. But
they're going to get Miller, and that's his first, team foul number 3.
Digging him out, I suppose, is what he was calling.
Sanford in, Dakota Smith out. So Sanford, Zink, Mars, Abels, and Green. 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a freshman. Sanford gives it back on the reversal to Green, to Zink, now into the front court to Mars. Ball tipped, Green saves it. 13-point lead for the Lions. Hindigus is set long enough. Coach sends him back to the scorer's bench as we roll up on a minute to go here before the halftime break. A lot of good movement, but not effective movement for West Washington in the half court. We'll have a little reach-in foul on Meade as he gave pressure to Zink. And for Meade, that's his first of the night, and that's the 4th whistled against the Lions. So Parker Green will reset it as he'll be the trigger man at the end of the Salem bench down in front of us. 57.2 on the clock.
Again, like you said, movement's good, but it's got to be productive movement.
A lot of high ball screens, but not looking to attack, and that's kind of been the storyline for them offensively here in this first half of play. Ball poked away by Fleming on the wing entry to Green, 49.4, and they'll reset again. Parker beside Hank Whedon. He will inbound. Zink will check out. A little winded. Zink, again, not been able to practice or play over the last week or so plus after taking that shot to the head down at Eastern 2 weeks ago. Nichols back into the front court, gives it up to Abels. He'll look to go off the dribble, spins, nowhere to go with it, so he'll kick it out to Green. A little 4-corner action here on the spread and a little 3-man weave out top. Green gives it back to Abels. Let's see if the Senators can hold for one. If they're patient enough, be nice to go in with a big basket and a little bit of momentum on our side. It's what Paoli did to us last Friday night.
That's been the problem through the first 5. They haven't had been patient enough to take that last shot, where we'll take our last shot at 12 and give the opponents the chance, and a couple times they've really taken advantage of it.
10 seconds to play. 9, 8. Abels feeds down low to Sanford. Sanford, nice pump fake, turnaround jumper goes. Great patience by Harrison Sanford at the buzzer, and it makes it a 22-11 score at the halftime break. The Senators with a much-needed basket to close out the first half of play. So we'll see if they're able to build off of that momentum headed into the locker room. That's just the 4th Senator to get into the scoring column. Nick doing most of the damage for us in this first half. He's got 6 of the team's 11. But again, at 22-11 after 16 minutes, pace definitely in favor of the boys in blue. But they're going to have to get something churning on the offensive end. Coach Gibson and I will step aside. We'll take a break. We'll come back and begin our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by the good folks just south of the square here in Salem on South Main Street, Eddie Gilstrap Motors. You're listening to Senator Basketball tonight and the holiday tourney presented by First Harrison Bank on WSLN 1220 on the AM dial.
Hello, police. I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a wrecker for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer? Nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel Seedsmanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
Back inside of the Lions den here at Brooks Memorial Gymnasium. Senators and Lions at the halftime break. Lions with the advantage at 22-11 in a snail's pace here offensively. Let's run down the scoring. It won't take long for both teams. First for Salem, they're led at the half by the 9 points of Xavier Hennigas. 3 two-point field goals and a make from downtown, as he had a quick 5 within the first 39 seconds or so of that first minute or so of the second quarter of play. Suvac held scoreless through the first half. Fleming chips in 5. In fact, he had the game's first shot of the night, that big 3 from the left corner. Whedon with 2 at the break, and Miller with just 4, but all in the second quarter of play off the bench. Myron Mead and Shane Mahiran play in a very short rotation, a much shorter rotation for Coach Whedon. And in that first game, where he was able to get a variety of guys in, he went about 10 or so deep against West Washington in that season opener. Meade scores, Mahiran goes scoreless, and get this, Coach, a team that's been burning it up at the free throw line, and as a team shoots 73%. Lions not a single free throw attempt in that first half of play, so kudos to West Washington, at least defensively, for the effort to keep the Lions off of the foul stripe. 2 turnovers for the Lions, 1 in each quarter in that first half of play. Meanwhile, for West Washington at the half, they get 4 guys into the scoring column. Nichols, Green, and Dakota Smith all start, but none of those guys able to tally. Jake Strange has 1 on 1 of 2 free throw shooting. Nick Mars with 6, 4 of those 6 coming in the first half, or in the first quarter rather, of play. Harrison Sanford, Caden Abels with 2 apiece off the bench. Gavin Smith and Cam Zink play, but do not tally in that first 16 minutes of action. Senators just 1 of 2 from the free throw line for 50% in that first half. 4 turnovers for West Washington, so also pretty good job of taking care of the rock, especially against some full court run and jump pressure. And again, the half court man-to-man and the half court 1-3-1, a mixed bag for Coach Whedon defensively. Senators handling it thus far. Don't want to speak too soon, but again, just 2 turnovers in each quarter for 4 here at the halftime break. Senators trailed at 11-4 after the first quarter of play. They get outscored 11-7 in the second period, and that brings us to the 22-11 score here at the half. We had 1 lead change, no ties in the first 16 minutes of play. We'll step aside, take a break. We'll get a word from another one of our sponsors, and we'll come back with more of our Eddie Gilstrap Motors Senator halftime report right after this word.
This is Kate, and this is my Walmart.
This is Kevin, and this is my Walmart.
This is Alicia, and this is my Walmart. This is Jessica, and this is my Walmart.
We're all part of Walmart, and we're all part of the local community. Walmart has contributed hundreds and thousands of dollars to the Salem and Washington County community in the past year. We've raised money for Salem's flood victims, local fundraisers, and donated to local law enforcement, the Community Foundation, and many other civic and private groups in the county. We're here to serve you with our unbeatable service and quality products and everyday low prices. I'm Jeff Rampy, and this is Salem's Walmart.
Back to continue with more of our Eddie Gilstrap Motors Senator halftime report. Coach Gibson's got a rundown of some other statistics from the first 16 minutes of play.
Yeah, rebounding-wise, we thought that might be a little bit of trouble. It wasn't the first game, but the Lions held a 10-6 edge on the rebounding. They had 4 offensive boards to the Senators 1. Assists, 6 assists to 2 in favor of the Lions. Everything else is pretty even. Actually, that's it. I think the biggest key was right at the end of the first quarter and into the second. I believe they went on a 13-0 run. I mean, and it was about 4 minutes long. That stretch where we turned the ball over 2 or 3 times. We couldn't get that, we couldn't get anything to fall. I mean, that was the biggest stretch, and that's something that this young club's going to have to be able to either eliminate. I mean, that basketball is a game of runs. I mean, it's a run. I mean, that's a veteran.
It sounds cliche, but it's
so
true.
It is true. I mean, no matter what level, high school, college, pro, or veteran players, young players, basketball is such. I mean, there's so many runs involved, and momentum is so big in basketball. So it's not going to eliminate that totally, but you have to overcome them. If you give up 6, 8 in a row, you got to come back with at least 4 of your own. Just to make damage control mostly. But as far as shooting, Senators, like you said, we were 5 of 10 for inside the arc. I mean, that's as well as we've done all season long. So we were being patient. We got good shots right at the block. Sanford, Strange, at least got fouled. Mars took very good shots. A couple of times we were a little bit off balance, but 50%, you'll take that. And we only shot 2 3-pointers. So I think Coach Smith, I think he came in with a plan. He's going to play that zone, so they didn't have 20 free throws tonight. And he said, let's be patient and get good shots inside the arc. Now it's 22-11, and there were some open looks that before in the first 5 games, Mikey would have taken, Holden would take it. We've said it before. Open looks are great, but sometimes they're still not the best shots that you can get. So, it'll be interesting to see how we open up here. We need a fast start, down 11. You can't all of a sudden find yourself down 17 and then have to climb that hill. You have to keep it right around here, or even, make an indentation a little bit by the end of this quarter, go from 11 to 5 or 6, and you're in great shape.
See what the Senators can muster up here in the final 16 minutes of regulation. Again, they trail at 22-11 here at the half. That'll do it for our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square here in Salem. We'll step aside, take our final break of the halftime break, and we'll come back with third quarter action right after this. You're listening to the Senators and Lions in the 2017 Holiday Tourney, presented by First Harrison Bank on WSLM.
Health and Rehabilitation, we offer hope in the form of our Moving Forward short-term rehabilitation to home program. With a full range of therapy programs, the goal of Moving Forward Rehabilitation is to help people return home safely with the skills they need to live life on their own terms. Call us and ask us about your Medicare replacement policy or managed insurance policy and what your benefits are. We are here to help. For more information about MetaView, visit ascseniorcare.com or call 812-883-4681.
We are ready to open up the second half of play. It will be Senator basketball to open up this third quarter. So we'll see if we can't get something out of the gate on the back-to-back possessions. Of course, we had that shot by Harrison Sanford in the low post and a little turnaround jumper as time expires right before the halftime break to cut that deficit to 11. And on a nice dribble drive take left side on a clear out ISO for Parker Green, he'll be awarded with a trip to the free throw line after being hammered across the arm by Hunter Whedon. First foul of the half for either ball club, just 12 seconds in. And again, just Whedon's first of the night, and he had a quiet first half, knock on wood, just 2 points for Whedon. This will be Parker Green's first point of the night as he cashes in on free throw number 1. Again, the Lions did not attempt a single free throw in that first half. Senators went 1 of 2, and Green goes 1 of 2 on this trip. So down to a 10-point lead for Salem at 22-12. And the Senators will stay with the box and 1. Nichols on Hendigas.
I think that might have been Parker's first miss of the year from the line. I mean,
was.
he hasn't shot
He
a
came in
ton of them, but that was his first miss.
Yep. Nice dribble drive take by Fleming, who started the Lions off, so kind of appropriate for him to start things off in the third, and with a steal and a basket for Hendigas. He finds a way to shake free against pressure That's 2 quick baskets for the Lions. Drives it back up to a 14-point lead at 26-12. Senators committing their first turnover of the half, 5th of the game. Nichols' little fadeaway mid-range jumper would not fall right side of the floor. So that puts the Lions right back in business. Suvak, wild drive, out of control. Hits the deck, but was too out of control to draw any kind of whistle from this crew. So Zink will walk it up and work it against Suvak to start the period. Zink out there with Mars, the 2 seniors. Green, Jake Strange, so 2 freshmen, and the junior Mikey Nichols. Salem back to their original starting 5. Suvak out there with Fleming, Hindigus, Whedon, and Miller. Jake Strange with the catch in the post, throws it, or tries to throw it rather, out of trouble, turns it over instead, and then we compound the problem with a foul and an and 1 at the other end. And guess who? It's Gavin Fleming, who has, as we said earlier, been playing exceptionally well for Salem over the last few ball games during this little 3-game win streak. Basket is good, makes it 28-12. And the Senators in a little bit of trouble here.
I've said that this is the point of the game where you need, like you said, that calming presence that Holden brings you. I mean, we've turned it over 2 of the last 3 times that directly led to points. That's something that your true point guard, Holden Bausman, would probably, and there's another turnover.
Still off a 1-2-2 full court pressure. Suvak back in business. Miller feeds corner. Fleming, 3-ball right side, won't go. Rebound fought for. Last touch by Mars, they say. Whedon doing his part to try to secure the rebound, but it was poked away by Mars. 5:58 to play, 3rd quarter. Largest lead of the night for the Lions at 16, 28-12. Whedon gets it in without any pressure, and he knocks down the mid-range jumper. So Whedon now with 4 in the game, and the lead starting to swell here for the Lions. It's up to 18 at 30-12. Breaking full court pressure, Mars goes in out of control, misses, gets his own rebound, back up, couldn't finish. And now Mars will go to the line on the year, 13-20 for 65%. His first attempts of the night. As the foul goes against Hunter Whedon, he picks up his 2nd personal, team foul number 2. To the free throw line, Mars goes, and that one well short. No bend to the knees, no finish on the toes,
yeah,
just
you could tell
flat
from
the beginning.
That one was no good.
2nd attempt on the way for Mars, trying to get point number 7 on the night, and that one rattles home. So his first point of the 2nd half comes at a good time, breaks a little drought for West Washington. 30-13, Salem comfortably out in front. Again, largest lead at 18 just a moment ago.
Really reminds me of the first game tonight. One team's really struggling to find points, and the other one's just playing loosey, just playing loose. And, sometimes that's a big part of it, loose and confident. And the Senators, on the other hand, are just really struggling to get points on the board.
Jake Strange picks up his 2nd personal, team foul number 2. He will check out of the ball game. And we will see Caden Abels check in, so a very small lineup right now. Harrison Sanford also into the ball game as Whedon splits a triple team. Can't get much easier than that. Wide open layup, and Whedon's already doubled his first half production. He's got 4 here in this period, 6 in the game, and it's 32-13. Mars nearly loses the handle, throws a rocket out to Green, who had to wrangle it in, and they go mid-post to Mars. Kick out. Nichols in the high post to Mars, and Senators just super flat right now offensively. There's no other way to describe it. No fluency whatsoever on the offensive end for West Washington. Nichols is going to lose it off of his foot. Another unforced turnover. And at some point, you got to think that we're going to start learning from some of our timid behavior on the offensive end, because it's not getting us anywhere. As Shane Mahurin checks back into the ball game for his first minutes of the 2nd half, 5'11", and a sophomore again at 2 points, or 2/10 of a point per game.
Yeah, you can
More
tell
of a
confidence
defensive
is
guy.
definitely a big problem for the Senators right now. The only one that's very confident at all offensively is Nick.
Fleming caught in the post, had to kick out. Whedon on the quick explosive take to the hole will be whistled for a travel. So that'll be Salem's 3rd turnover of the night, 1st of the quarter.
You know, one thing
to play.
Coach talked about in his pregame discussion was not letting them have so many layups and buckets right at the block. Well, how many jump shots have they made recently in this run? 0, I think. I think they've all been layups or 5-footers. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster if you keep giving teams layups and 5-footers.
Senators going to turn it over again. Abels had a lane to the basket. Not sure why he pulled that back out. Normally that's one he would take to the rack. 5 turnovers already now in the quarter. Whedon on the kick out, airballs a 3. And now he's going to bark at Greg Hammond wanting the foul. There was nothing to blow the whistle about, so I'm not sure what Whedon is carrying on about.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. We had a kid in the area. He wanted an area code foul, I guess.
2-2-1 full court pressure. And Harrison Sanford going to sling one to the end of the Senator bench. 6 turnovers now in the quarter, 10 in the ball game.
So we have almost as many turnovers as points. I mean, that's probably going to get you beat in most games.
Timeout on the floor, probably another good one. It's got to be a full timeout for Coach Smith because that's all he's got left after he burned up 3 in the first half. At the 3:44 mark, Senators trail at 32-13. We'll step aside, take a break, get another sponsor in. We'll come back with more coverage of this 2017 Holiday Tourney presented by First Harrison Bank right after this.
You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. Experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
Back for more 3rd quarter action. 3:44 to go in the period. Senators trailing at 32-13 and what has been less than desirable to watch as far as offense is concerned for West Washington. Just nothing to it. Again, 13 points on the board through 2.5+ quarters of play and 10 turnovers as Salem gives it up out of the timeout. Their 4th of the game. Harrison with a nice steal, and back to the other end we go. Abels will dribble drive into the paint, kick to Sanford. He thought about the take on the baseline, pulls it back out to Zink. Zink will dribble out of trouble now, back between the circles as he works the dribble and comes right side against Hindigas. Leaves it off now to Abels. Abels trying to work against the hedge of the screen by Whedon. They'll give it back to Mars now out top. High post, has to kick it back out. Abels thought about 3. They give it to Green, now down low. Mars will work against Whedon, had his shot blocked from behind, and it'll come out there to Fleming off the rebound attempt. 2:55 and counting 3rd quarter. Whedon now will take. Leave off for Hindigas, and off the first step, a little too quick. He forgot to put the ball on the floor first. 2 consecutive turnovers for Salem brings him to 5 now total in the ball game. Still just half as many as West Washington in the giveaway department. 2:51 to go. Again, still stuck on 32-13.
Really done a nice job on Whedon. I mean, he's actually kind of frustrated, but we can't get anything going offensively.
3-on-2 break. We'll see if we get anything out of this. Harrison will take, leave it off for Mars. Mars bobbles it. Another turnover. 7 now in the quarter alone. Fleming back to the other end to Hindigas. Dribble hesitation, pull up jumper off the glass, won't go. Rebound fought for. Harrison Sanford comes out with it. Abels now, he'll race it up, bringing it into the front court to Zink. He'll stop, pop, 3 ball, got it to go. 3-pointer for Zink. His first points in what seems like an eternity after missing last weekend's games against Paoli and Trinity Lutheran with that concussion. His first points tonight makes it 32-16. You're still out front by Abels. Miller with it now, right baseline. He'll kick it cross court in front of the Salem cheer block to Fleming, who tries to cross over against Zink. Bobbled it, got it back. Hindigus, 3 on the way, got it to go.
3-point basket, number 22.
Hindigus with 5 in this period. 14 now in the game as he zeroes in on that 18-point per game average he's on for the year. 35-16, back to a 19-point advantage.
Salem, number 11, Gavin Fleming, his second.
And Fleming will pick up a personal. His second of the night. 3 against the Lions, only 2 against the Senators. And again, a game where we haven't seen a lot of fouls called as compared to what was forever and ever, whistle after whistle, last Saturday night against Trinity Lutheran. Senators, though, just cannot seem to take advantage. Dakota Smith back into the ball game for West Washington, out there with Zink, Abels, Mars, and Green. Coach Smith trying to find a combination of 5 that'll work. Little dribble handoff out front. Zink nearly has it poked away, tries to go behind the back in traffic. Unforced turnover again. 8th of the quarter, 12th of the game. Hindigus now, he'll try to cross over, and he's going to be called for a player control as he buried the forearm into the chest of Zink. Bubba Abbott doesn't like it to my immediate right, but can't chuck that forearm into a guy's gut and get away with it off the dribble drive. That's just not how it works. Hindigus picks up his first personal. Turnover number 4 for the Lions in this half alone, 6 in the ball game. And now will be whistled for a travel in the backcourt. That one will go against Zink, so they give it right back. 9 turnovers in the period, 13 in the game for West Washington, and things getting very sloppy quickly here at the end of the third period as Nichols will check back in. Zink will check out. 57.4 to go.
I mean, we've only attempted 4 shots the entire quarter because of turnovers and, giving up offensive rebounds or whatever it is. 4 shots in the quarter is not much.
Back cut by Suvak, gathered in the pass, bobbled it for just a moment. And Suvak gets his first basket finally of the night. Came in averaging almost 9.5. Finally scores his first as Salem has now extended the lead to 21 at 37-16, their largest of the night. Abels chucks it to the cheap seats for turnover number 10 of the period. Senators back to work in the half-court man-to-man. Coming up on a half minute to go. Mahurin bobbled it out front. Into the ball game for his first minutes of the night, Colin McCartney.
Basket, number 22, Xavier
And a
Hindigus.
3-pointer for Hindigus gives him now 8 in the period, 17 in the game. Turnover for West Washington. Again, 11 now in the period. And to the other end,
Landon Suvak.
Suvak with 2 more. 42-16, and this is becoming a runaway train. Smith with it in the backcourt, gives it to Parker. Parker fires it into the front court to Abels, and his 3 at the buzzer goes. Count it for Abels. As the third quarter finally comes to an end in what was a pretty bizarre period of play. 42-19 your score after the third quarter of play. Senators a long way to go, and again, a short time to get there, just 1 period of action left. We'll step aside, take a break, get a word from a sponsor, and we'll come back with more action right after this.
Just in time for the holidays at John Jones GM City in Salem, get GM employee pricing on our most popular Chevy models. You pay what we pay, not 1 cent more. Use your employee discount and save over $11,000 on select Chevy Silverados. Put a bow on that. Drive a brand new Chevy Spark, automatic, backup camera, touchscreen sound system, built-in Wi-Fi, lots more. Just $12,137 while they last. You can also browse through a variety of really nice local trade-ins, many priced around $5,000. GM employee pricing for you right now at John Jones GM City. Stop by 1450 Highway 60, Salem, Indiana. Call 800-I-SELL-GM or visit us online anytime at johnjonesautogroup.com.
Back to begin the fourth quarter of play. from Salem High School. Salem leads at 42-19 after 3 quarters of action. And to start the 4th quarter, Salem will have it first. Number 21, Brody Petmeyer's checked into the ball game, a 6-foot freshman. He's out there with Whedon. And Whedon scores right on cue. He's got 8 now in the ball game, 44-19. And again, it's Whedon out there with Petmeyer. Colin McCartney, a 6'2 junior, Suvak, and Meade. Another turnover. Now 12 in this half for West Washington, and to the other end, Petmeyer able to score it on the break, 46-19. And the Senators still doing some soul searching at the offensive end, just cannot take care of the rock tonight. And Eastern's crew's seen enough. They'll head out, and it's going to be an Eastern and Salem matchup unless something miraculous happens here in this 4th quarter. Abels kicks corner. Dakota Smith, 3-ball way off the mark, no good. Offensive rebound to Parker Green. They'll feed back in the post. Nice look to Mars, but he has the ball swatted away by 2 Lions. Leading the break, Petmeyer gives it off to Whedon. His pull-up jumper will go. And the basket can't be big enough right now for the Lions as the offensive onslaught continues, 48-19. And the Senators,
they just can't get anything going. It's just, there's no confidence out there. The passes aren't crisp.
I don't know if anything's been crisp tonight. Dakota Smith, shot blocked. Another empty possession for West Washington. Rolling up on 6 minutes to play, and this clock can't run fast enough to get us out of here. Not sure we shouldn't go to a 4-corner stall and try to just soak the clock. Senators come up with a steal, turnover number 5 of the half. 7 now in the game for Salem, and on the post entry, Mars looked like he just lost it on his own, but he'll be bailed out with a whistle and a Salem foul. And this one's going to go against Meade, so he picks up his second. And that's the 5th whistled against the Lions. And Mars goes back to the free throw line, where on the night he is 1 of 2, has 7 points in the game. First free throw is up and good. Senators finally reach the 20-point plateau. And for those of you just tuning in, I don't mean Nick Mars breaking the 20-point plateau. I mean the whole team. 5:56 to play in regulation.
Yeah, it has not been an offensive clinic.
Second one missed by Mars. So the Senators 1 for 2 on each of their 4 trips tonight to the charity stripe. 48-20. Green will check back in, next dead ball. Senators come up with a steal. Mars gets knocked to the floor, no whistle. Turnover number 6 of the half for Salem. Back into the front court. Abels 3, left wing, in and out, no good. Rebound fought for, pings around, touched several jerseys. They'll say last touch by Salem. And on the dead ball, Nichols will check out of the ball game. And so will Mars. Green and Strange, the 2 freshmen, back in. Again, the Senators without the services of their starting point guard, freshman Holden Bousman. Hopefully we'll have him back for the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. A nice feed down low, freshman to freshman on the inbounds play. And Jake Strange,
not real sure,
gets his first field goal of the night. See, Mike Wright with the call, technical on Colin McCartney. Not sure if he just maybe frustrated a little bit on that defensive trip. McCartney, he throws up his hands in the front court. This kid's got an attitude. I don't know. He threw up a double fist. I don't know what's going on here, but he's more of a football guy anyway. Not sure he's truly a basketball guy. Maybe a banger down low to grab some rebounds, but technical foul assessed to McCartney. That also goes as a personal. So 6 now whistled against the team. Abels to the free throw line, knocks down 1 of 2 on the technical attempts, make it 48-23.
And not only we turn the ball over, we haven't shot well. But even the free throws, I think we're at 50% right now. I think
Yeah.
that's, I mean, they have yet to attempt a free throw, and we're just not making them pay by shooting 50% on free throws.
Rolling up on 5 minutes to go in what seems like an eternity. Senators with the basketball. Off the possession from the technical, and then Strange throws it away. Another unforced. 13 now in this half alone. 17 in the ball game.
I
Eastern
tend
and
to
Borden
believe
fans
that
have filed
having
out.
your starting point guard would eliminate a lot of that. Not all of it, but a lot of it. They're just not very confident out front carrying the ball, or carrying the ball around the perimeter, and it's just not a lot of confidence right now in this one.
Miller leaves it off for Petmeyer. Petmeyer afraid to go anywhere with it, gives it up to Mead. Lions cycling through the half-court offense. Petmeyer catches right wing again, gives it up to Suvak, dribbles out of trouble, back to Petmeyer. All up on the halfway point here of this fourth quarter. Just under 4.5 to go, and a timeout on the floor. 30-second timeout for Coach Hank Whedon and the Salem Lions. Again at the 4:27 mark, 48-23. Senators trailing by 25, and this one's not been very interesting.
Not
since,
pretty, not a work of art.
Halftime it was 11, but it's a situation where the Senators just got to dig for a little bit of pride in the final 4:27 and hope to bounce back against a Borden team that struggled mightily as well tonight here against Eastern in that first game. Eastern prevailed 57-36. While we have a moment, let's pause. Here's 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Senator Basketball on WSLM.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
Stop by and donate to this fund.
Salem Lions hosting the Randy Johnson Soup Supper tonight. Purely on donations alone for the scholarship fund here at Salem, and they just announced at the timeout break they raised $1,164 tonight for the Randy Johnson Memorial Scholarship Fund. So nice effort by the county to come out and support a good cause here as we have another timeout on the floor by Salem. Another 30-second timeout, 4:27, of course, still to go, no time off the clock.
Mentioning the charity thing, the county cheerleaders helping with Shop with a Cop, too. You may want to mention that. They've done a really good job with that, too.
All three county schools getting involved in a lot of good causes here across the county, getting into the holiday spirit a little bit. Sometimes we focus a little bit, maybe too much on the athletics, maybe on the things that aren't really too big in the grand scheme of things, but providing support for a scholarship fund that's going to help our youth here in the county, no matter what school it's from, or helping kids with Shop with a Cop. All three county schools do a nice job of giving back to the community with their student athletes. All upon 4 minutes to play in regulation. 48-23. Suvak dribble drive into the paint. A little floater just inside the free throw line will go. And Suvak's got 6 now on the night, and it is 50-23. Largest lead of the night for the Lions. And backing his way down, Chase Farmer into the ball game. Jake Strange couldn't get a putback on the offensive board. Farmer checks in. Chase, 6'1" and a sophomore, hasn't really played any varsity minutes to speak of. And we'll have a whistle and a travel out front. Turnover number 7 of the half for the Lions, 9 in the game. Harrison Sanford checks back in. Dakota Smith checks out. So on the game reset, we'll have Zink and Abels in the backcourt. Strange out there with Harrison Sanford and Chase Farmer across the front line for West Washington. 3.5 to play. Zink has it right side, looks in the post at Strange. He'll swing it around on the perimeter, and Abels will take a quick three. That one misses almost everything. Rebound pulled down by Mahurin. He'll race it up the floor now to the front court and leave it off in the corner right side to Miller. Salem doing just enough. They haven't done anything flashy tonight, but they've got shots to fall where West Washington hasn't because they haven't looked to attack. Nice job defensively as Harrison gets a nice block from behind. 3:06 to play. Senators will get it back, but Stage is pretty much set for tomorrow night.
A lot of it comes down to they're doing a lot of damage right at the bucket. I mean, they're well over 50% inside the arc, and just because they're right at the rim. And Coach talked about that in his pregame talk.
Jake Strange on the ball reversal, gives it up now to Zink, right wing, and he got another one to go from downtown. Zink's got his second triple of the night, making it now 50-26. Back to the other end, Mahurin will try to cross over. Has it nearly stripped by Farmer, gives it up to Mead. He nearly has it stripped, and they'll kick it out now to trouble to Suvak in the center circle. He works against Abel. Senators are matched up in the half-court man. 2.5 to play. Ball reversal left side to Suvak over in front of the Salem cheer block. Had it poked away momentarily. Nice steal for Abels. He'll go coast to coast and give it up. And Harrison Sanford thought about dunking it. Couldn't lay it over the rim. Got rejected by the rim. And that's just the way the Knights went for West Washington. 2-minute warning here in this one.
We still have 2 minutes to go. Like I said, you're looking for a positive because you got to come right back here on the same court tomorrow at 6. So we're looking for positives. Although there's
Coach, you
not a lot.
Coach, you ever try to find a needle in a haystack? Woo. 2:01 to play. Foul on the floor. Go against Chase Farmer. It'll be his first. Just the third team foul whistled against West Washington. Substitutions at the dead ball underneath. McCartney rather, back into the ball game after that technical earlier. Could not finish on a nice inbounds play. Took some contact. And the Salem cheer block starts to chant just like last time, but I hate to give this breaking news with under 2 minutes to play, but not exactly like last time. Whenever you're missing your starting point guard, that certainly doesn't help the situation. And again, does he make up 24 points? Maybe not, but he eliminates a lot of things and takes some pressure off some guys that's been put in situations they haven't had to be in.
That's a positive. Jake Strange takes a charge right there. I mean, that's a positive. That last offensive rebound for Jake a couple possessions ago, that's his first rebound. I mean, you would think he would have more. I don't know if it's because of his first start or something. Something like that. He just wasn't as active on the board, which he'd been really active through the first 5 games. So, but that's a positive, taking a charge. Somebody stepping in there and said, I'm not going to let him get right to the rim.
And the player control leads to a turnover as well. Farmer couldn't finish in the post. McCartney pulls down the rebound for Salem. And now we'll have a double foul as McCartney and Farmer going at it. So McCartney continues to try to bull his way through the second half. Got him a technical earlier as he got caught up with Abels. Farmer picks up his second, so 8 against the Lions, 4 against the Senators. No bonus free throws on a double foul, of course. And we'll have a foul now underneath. And McCartney, I tell you what, he just turned around and gave a thumbs up to the official, and then Wagner gives him the stink eye. So,
number 32, Jake Strange, his third, team's fifth.
At that point, you just play, and you don't have the attitude and the arrogance and all of that stuff. I'm really surprised that Salem hasn't unloaded their bench a little bit more. I guess they have for the most part. They've got some guys in there now, like Austin Persinger, 5'10", and a sophomore, in for his first minutes of the night, but don't want something to get chippy and something silly to happen with 63 seconds to go either, especially if you're the team getting to play for the championship tomorrow night. Coach Whedon's going to have a talk with him here. Hammond's now going to talk to Whedon. He was the one that got the sarcastic thumbs up from McCartney on the last
happy
whistle.
with him for the last 50 seconds or so.
Last foul whistle against West Washington was on Mikey Nichols, team foul number 6.
Goal line number 24, Colin McCartney.
And McCartney gets his first field goal. About 47 seconds to play. 52-26. Lions have the Senators doubled up in what's been a very uneventful second half for West Washington. Underneath, Farmer catches against McCartney. Turning around, fadeaway won't go. That's going to be team foul number 9 against the Lions. And another one for McCartney.
West Washington, number 40, Chase Farmer.
Check
shooting
that. They're
2.
going to get Persinger instead. I think they messed up that call. Farmer to the free throw line. Chance to score his first varsity point of the year, and that one, a brick off the back iron. So the Senators' struggle continues on the offensive end, especially from the free throw line. If he makes this one, that'll keep us at 50% on the night, and Chase knocks it down. So Chase has his first varsity point. 52-27, under a half minute to play.
You know, I just noticed, just looking at these stat sheets and stuff, you know, I think who missed Holden a lot too? Parker. He didn't seem as comfortable out there. I don't have him down for even taking a shot other than the one he got fouled on.
Well, and Parker's more of a 3, in my opinion, a swing 3 that can handle the ball a little bit, but not sure he's too comfortable playing in that shooting guard position, kind of like last year against the Lions in the opener when Michael was in foul trouble. You know, Noah had to kind of come in and handle the ball a little bit. Time's going to expire on the last turnover of the game for West Washington. 18 in all in the ball game. 52-27. This one finally comes to an end. So we have our matchup set for tomorrow night in the consolation game. 6 o'clock right back here at the Everett Esteen Court inside of Brooks Memorial Gymnasium. It'll be the Senators trying to bounce back, now dropping 3 straight. They'll take on Doc Nash's Borden Braves in the consolation matchup. Then for the 2017 Holiday Tourney title, it will be the Lions, the host, trying to defend their championship they won last year down at Pekin. They will take on the Eastern Musketeers in what should be a fun matchup in the nightcap tomorrow night. But 52-27, your final. Senators fall hard here tonight. We'll step aside, take a break, start figuring up some numbers. We'll come back to begin our Ace Hardware of Salem post-game show. And we'll have that for you right after this.
Yeah, hello, police. Yeah, I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a record for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer? Nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel Seedsmanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
Back to begin our post-game show, brought to you by Ace Hardware here in Salem. Be sure to stop in and check out their holiday deals and December bargains of the month. Tonight, Salem prevails 52-27 in what we thought was going to be a pretty nice rematch between the two ball clubs. But again, Senators a little shorthanded. Of course, even still with Zink coming back, he probably didn't expect a whole lot because he hasn't been able to practice. He didn't know what conditioning was going to be like. He has 6 on the night. But again, it was just a struggle for anybody to get anything going offensively here this evening as the Senators failed to get a single player in to double figures. Of course, go figure, they only have 27 in all on the night. Meanwhile, you guessed it, Salem, 2 guys in double figures, and it's the same 2 that reached double figures in the win in the season opener, Hindigus and Whedon. Let's run down the scoring for both of these ball clubs. First for the Salem Lions with the victory, 4 straight wins, now 5-1 on the year. Hank Whedon, win number 199 in his career here at Salem in 18 seasons. And Coach Whedon will go for win number 200 tomorrow night as he tries to defend that holiday tourney title against the Eastern Musketeers. Tonight, they get 2 players, as I said, into double figures. Hindigus finishes the night with 17, a pretty balanced effort, 9 in the first half, 8 in the third quarter of play, went scoreless in the fourth, but again, he faced a box-and-one defense for the better part of this matchup. Hunter Whedon chips in 10 as well. A very quiet night for Whedon on the board. And in the scoring department, Suvak chips in 6 all in the second half. Fleming with 9, a really nice outing for the sophomore. 3-man in the lineup for Coach Whedon. Blake Miller chips in 4, all coming in the second quarter of play. Colin McCartney, Myron Mead, Shane Mahiran, Austin Persinger, and Brody Petmeyer all play tonight. Some of them getting a little bit more of their playing time late in the ball game when this one was already all but said and done. McCartney, Mead, and Petmeyer chip in 2 apiece. Mahiran, Persinger play, but are unable to tally. 52 points total on the board. Get this, Salem just shoots 1 free throw on the night, 0 for 1. Pretty outstanding for a team that was burning it up, as I said. And they went 16 of 18 at the Hawks Nest on Tuesday night, and that's really what fueled their win against Springs Valley to knock off the Blackhawks. But tonight, Senators sitting in that zone and that box of 1, it really hampered their ability to get to the line very much. So kudos to the Senators. That's one area we did win a battle in here this evening. 11 turnovers on the night for Salem. 9 of the 11, though, came in the second half when things were starting to get a little bit sloppy, especially in that really ugly third quarter of play. Meanwhile, for West Washington, with the loss, they have dropped now 3 in a row, Paoli, Trinity Lutheran, and now Salem. They'll try to snap that skid as they have now fallen to 2-4 overall on the year. They'll try to get one back. That's kind of been the theme for them in the last few years. As I said in the pregame, 16 holiday tourneys dating back in this format at least to 2001, 2002 when Ron Hahn was still around in Camelsburg. Through 32 games, the Senators had only won 11 tourney games, and 2 of those came in 2006 when the Senators were able to win their only holiday tourney title. So the struggles continue for this group in this tournament, but the last couple of years they've done a nice job of bouncing back and winning the consolation games. You just like to see them playing at a little bit later start time on a Saturday night and finally get an opportunity to do so. Perhaps next year as the host they'll be able to do just that. But tonight, the Senators, a balanced attack, but just no scoring to speak of. Mikey Nichols, Dakota Smith start, but do not tally. Parker Green with just 1 on 1 of 2 free throw shooting in the third quarter. Jake Strange chips in 3, 1 field goal and 1 of 2 from the charity stripe. Nick Mars, 8 points on the night to lead the team. 6 of those 8 coming in the first half. Second half was 2 of 4 free throw shooting to account for the other 2 points. Harrison Sanford, Caden Nables, Gavin Smith, Camden Zink, and Chase Farmer all play in this one tonight off the bench. So Coach Smith going 10 deep. Harrison Sanford chips in 2. Abels and Camden Zink chip in 6 apiece. Gavin Smith scoreless off the bench. Chase Farmer 1 of 2 free throws in the fourth quarter for his lone point on the night. So 27 points total. Senators just 6 of 12 from the free throw line for a measly 50%, something that we have got to take advantage of on a night where shots aren't falling. The least we can do is get to the free throw line and cash in on the freebies. Senators give it up 18 times in this one, folks. That accounts for a lot of our woes offensively, a lot of those unforced, and 4 in the first half, so that means 14 turnovers in that ugly second half of play when things got out of control, and Salem went on that nice little run in the third quarter to really balloon that lead out for them. Scoring by quarter went like this. After 1 quarter of play, it was Salem ahead 11-7. Senators get outscored 11-7 in the second quarter, bringing us to our 22-11 halftime score. Third quarter, all Salem on a nice run. They outscore the Senators 20-8 in that third period, giving them the 42-19 edge heading into that fourth quarter of play. And it was not much to speak of offensively for either team in that final 8 minutes. 10-8, Salem outscores West Washington, and that brings us to our 52-27 final. Coach, you got some other statistics. If you're ready, I am.
Rebounding, again, we fell to them with the rebounding margin in the first game. Well, about the same in the second. The Salem Lions end up with 18 rebounds, 5 offensive, to the Senators 11 with 4 offensive. They were balanced on the boards. Hendigas with 3, Fleming 3, Whedon 3. So everybody was getting on the boards for them. Whereas for the Senators, Mars had 6, and then our next highest was 2 with Nichols. So, they definitely controlled the boards. Like I said, we kept them off the free throw line. But that doesn't matter when you shoot 20 of 27 inside the arc for a whopping 74% for the Lions. They made their hay right around the rim again against the Senators, just like that first game. They only shot 4 of 13 from behind the arc, 30.8, so that's below average. But, man, when you can hit 20 of 27 shots right around the rim, I mean, you're going to win some ball games. And we just didn't do a very good job of keeping them away from the rim, whereas we shot 6 of 20. So they shot 74%. Senators shoot 30% inside the arc. So, that's the tail of the tape right there. What you said were the turnovers, 18, I believe. 18 turnovers, and to the fact that the Lions shoot 74% inside the arc to the Senators 30. So, I don't think you really have to say a whole lot more than that.
I don't know if you can say much more.
It was not a word. We've said it in the third and fourth quarter that this might be one where we just want to throw this film in the digital dumpster and come back, and hopefully we can get some things going. And we got another game, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, a game. Borden struggled as well. So, it's going to be 2 teams coming in there. Who's going to forget this Friday night game the fastest? Because if we let it hang on, Borden, you know how Coach Nash and his team, they play. They will, just like the Senators through the first 5 games, they will fight us tooth and nail. And if we let this one linger, then we're going to be struggling tomorrow night as well.
Well, and it turns into a situation just like Coach Smith spoke of last Friday night at the same time after the Paola game. He said, we have to make the concerted effort that when we get on that bus and we get back home, we have to be able to throw this game out of the memory bank, and it can't be a situation where we come into tomorrow night and allow Paoli to beat us again.
Right.
And I don't know if that's necessarily the case of what happened last Saturday. There was a lot of other things that accounted for that. But the Senators right now extremely flat offensively, and there's a lot of things that play into that as Coach Smith makes his way across the floor.
Yeah, we have to be careful because that could definitely happen tomorrow night. We could lose to Salem twice this weekend if we don't forget this one.
We'll let Coach Smith settle in here for the post-game show. His team has dropped their 3rd straight. Again, they'll try to bounce back in a big way. Let him throw on the headset here. Coach, thanks for joining us here tonight on the Ace Hardware Salem post-game show. Rough night for your guys offensively. Just a game where maybe for a different reason. Of course, we talked about the fouls in our pregame conversation that allowed us, or kept us rather, from getting into a flow offensively in the second half against Trinity Lutheran last Saturday. Tonight it seemed like even when we did get shots, they didn't go, and maybe not the volume of shots we wanted, especially in that first half and that second quarter.
Well, yeah, you're right. We had some matchup opportunities, mismatches, and we didn't finish. And had we finished those and kept the game closer, it'd been a lot different probably in the first half. But when we didn't finish those and connect on those, they were able to get some breathing room. And as far as volume goes, yeah, once we got down, we certainly needed to look to score more. But, in the early going, we had the pace where we wanted it. And, we had opportunities. We had opportunities and got some mismatches in the post, and we just didn't connect. And then, again, it just come down to once they got a lead and we had to come out and man them and, do some different things. The floodgates open basically. And then, of course, on the other end, we we struggled to score. We struggled to make shots or even get shots against their press. We didn't run our press break against 2-2-1 really at all. There's options, and we didn't look for them. We got got the deer in headlight look tonight from our guards, and just totally would just look at one option when there's three. At least three passing options, and again, that happens. Young team and big crowd, and guys just they got to learn from it. They got to get better from it. We got to improve and be ready the next time we get pressed 2-2-1.
But Coach, I think despite the scoring in that first half of play, as you said, not only was you able to keep the pace where you wanted it, but I thought a couple of big wins for us in that first 16 minutes was the fact that we only gave it up 4 times, 4 turnovers, pretty good, in a pace where we were pretty pleased. I know 22-11 maybe a little too low in the scoring for us, but again, where we wanted to keep it in terms of the overall finish or where we were headed. And for the game, you only give up 1 free throw attempt to a team that's been tearing it up from the free throw line. So there's always a silver lining, and I think you could find definitely a couple to build on for tomorrow night.
Yeah, those are good points. And we had the pace where we wanted it. We controlled the pace the whole first half, and we had the looks that really probably we wanted, but we just we didn't make. We need to make better moves, when we have those opportunities, and we didn't. A couple shots we rushed. We had guys rushing shots, and again, that's part of it. They'll get better at finishing and making those shots, and as they get more experience. But yeah, we absolutely first half had it where we wanted. The second half, it just got away from us. They were able to make some adjustments and hit some shots to get some breathing room and get in their press. And like I said, that's probably the most disappointing part of it is we really prepared a lot for that 2-2-1 press, and we have a press break to break that, and we just totally lost our mind, I guess, got deer in headlight, and just didn't execute very well against it in the second half, and that led to some baskets for them, and just frustration in general, for us. And but I'm sure we'll see it tomorrow, and we got to be prepared, and we got to try to do better. We got to try to do better against it.
And you bring up a good point, and of course we'll talk about this a little bit more in our pregame tomorrow, but you know what to expect now, because despite their woes offensively and defensively, Borden's a team that will still come out. They'll get after you. Even when they were down big, they still kept attacking defensively, trying to kind of claw their way back into it and make it a little more respectable against Eastern. You'll see some good pressure out of some good athletic guys in their backcourt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're going to fight and battle to the end and scratch and claw, and we got to come prepared to do the same. And we had some guys, again, we can't have deer in headlights tomorrow, or we're gonna not have an opportunity to hang around and see if we can get control of the game and win the game. We've got to come prepared and to battle and to execute whatever they throw at us, and we have some advantages that we can take advantage of, but again, we got to execute, and that's what it comes down to.
Well, Coach, we'll let you go and get out of here. Have a safe, short ride back to school, and we'll talk to you prior to the tip tomorrow night against Borden.
Okay, thank you.
Coach Smith joins us here on our Ace Hardware Salem post-game show, where the Senators fall here this evening in the nightcap, 52-27, the final. And again, that sets up our 2 matchups for tomorrow night. We're going to step aside. We're going to take our final break of the evening. We've run down the individual scoring, some of the team statistics. We'll take that final break, come back. We'll name our player of the night, brought to you by Ace Hardware of Salem. And we'll take a look ahead to tomorrow night's 2 matchups in the consolation and championship games of this 2017 holiday tourney, presented by First Harrison Bank of Salem. We'll take our final break, and we'll come back right after this word from Ace Hardware. Welcome back as we continue on with
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I needed a cooler for our annual fishing trip, and I heard Ace has Yeti.
Jack was right. We do have Yeti coolers. I told him about the permafrost insulation and the fact that Yeti coolers are built for the wild, and that Yeti Tundra is guaranteed grizzly-proof.
Ace is the place with grizzly-proof Yeti coolers.
Ace Hardware of Salem is your local Yeti dealer. Get a free $50 Ace gift card with your purchase of any Yeti cooler of $249 or more. Offer ends December 23rd.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Back for the final time here at Brooks Memorial Gymnasium courtside, where tonight the Senators fall to the Lions in the rematch of the season opener for both clubs. 52-27 the final, and again, that sets the stage for tomorrow night in the consolation game to tip at 6 p.m. sharp. It will be Doc Nash's Borden Braves, who took quite the beating and drubbing from Eastern. Eastern, of course, avenging that loss in the season opener whenever they battled it out in their little rivalry game to open up the season. Eastern had blew a 17-point lead in that season opener against Borden, and Borden able to escape with the narrow victory, but tonight it was all Eastern right out of the gates. They threw the first punch and never stopped punching. 57-36 the final. So Borden set to match up with Coach Sean Smith's Senator Club at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And then the nightcap, the championship tilt, it will be the Musketeers and Lions, and that game never disappoints, no matter who's good or who's down, so to speak. It is always an absolute war. So we'll see. As I said, Coach Whedon will go for win number 200 here in his 18th season at Salem, and they'll try to defend that holiday tourney title that they won down at Pekin this time last year. Meanwhile, Scott Newcomb's group of juniors and seniors very hungry, Coach, and they've got a little bit to prove. I know maybe some people growing a little restless with them. They dropped some here early on in the season, lost a heartbreaker to us, and it seems like they've kind of righted the ship a little bit, and that junior and senior laden roster will come in here, I'm sure, with absolutely zero fear of Coach Whedon's ball club.
Oh, that's what me and Craig were just talking about while you were talking to Coach Smith. We think that championship game tomorrow could be it could be a throwdown, because I thought Eastern looked really good. Of the four teams playing tonight, I thought Eastern looked the best. So, I mean, obviously things can change and depending on matchups and stuff like that, but it would not surprise me if Eastern came out of this with a holiday tournament championship. But you know, that's just told the coach as he was leaving, you know, you got to forget that one. You got to play tomorrow. I mean, you have another game. So, I mean, you can't mope around. You don't have a whole lot of time. It's a quick turnaround, a whole lot of time to you know, fix some things. But, you know, the mental side of it was the biggest part of it anyway, I thought. I mean, you know, I don't know if they were just like, well, Holden's out. What can we do? I mean, you got to forget that. You know, I mean, you're going to be handling the ball some out on the perimeter, and we can't be throwing it up into the stands, which happened, or right to one of the other team's players, which happened several times right in a row in that big long, like you said, in the third, was it right at the beginning of the third, basically the whole third quarter. I mean, we were turning the ball over left and right. So, I mean, they've got to get mentally tougher and more confident. I mean, they can do the job. They've shown it for the first 2.5 weeks of the season. We can do the job when we stop, be patient. Sometimes the game gets a little bit too fast for us, and that happens to a young team. So we got to slow it down a little bit, be patient, and Coach talked about it. That was one of his points in his pregame talk. Make good decisions, and we just did not tonight, and we didn't shoot the ball, and that's been a reoccurring theme for us.